Compton Woodley Airport, automated weather observation. 1935 Zulu weather. Wind calm. Visibility more than 10. Sky condition clear below 12,000. Temperature 25 Celsius. Dew point -7 Celsius. Altimeter 3018.
Check. Clear prop. The throttle response on this engine was incredible. A geared motor, so the propeller's not turning very fast. The propeller itself is very, very light, combined with probably a throttle friction thing. After the run-up, controls check, and then call for the runway.
Compton traffic, experimental 9-1 uniform, taking runway 7 right, high-speed taxi.
So for my first flight in the airplane, I'm trying to treat it sort of like an actual first flight. So what that means is starting with a high-speed taxi to verify the propeller operation, again, without being committed to going flying. So with that high-speed taxi complete, we just taxied back for the first actual takeoff.
Compton traffic, experimental 9-1 uniforms, clearly active.
Fist pumps for Jim.
Compton traffic, experimental 9-1 uniform. Departing runway 7 right, we'll be staying in the traffic pattern, climbing up above the airport.
Standard first flight type stuff, landing configuration stalls at altitude. You can see here I'm fiddling with the flaps. They're going up and down a little bit as I try to hit that 15-degree mark. So here's the landing configuration stall. Based on this, I could see that this was going to be an issue, the CG being so far forward. With those stalls complete, ready for RTB, again trying to keep the time down to minimize the risk exposure with the gearbox. And here we are coming into landing. I think you saw it on the takeoff, but here on the landing, it's just another reminder of just how poor of an airport Compton is for flight tests, right? Yes, it's a patch of great asphalt, great crash rescue, all the things that we're gonna learn as we go forward with this program, but it's surrounded by a lot of really not nice places to land. Put the gear out. Gear is a handle on the left side of the cockpit down like below your knee. And then put the flaps out. It's mounted on the lower left side of the panel.
Traffic, experimental 9-1 uniform, left base, 25 left.
So there you can see I was having trouble arresting the descent because I was at the aft stop of the elevator. The fix there would have been to add some throttle, which would have blown the tail or at least minimized the amount that the propeller was slowing down the air that was going over the tail, or just add approach speed or reduce the amount of flaps. Again, this is my first landing. That was very good for a first landing, but we're just dialing in these systems. The other big observation is that once you're down on the mains, I liked to wheel land the airplane. The transition from tail high wheel landing to setting the tail down was very big. The airplane sits with a very nose-high attitude, and you go from landing, and then I like to kind of raise the tail and plant the airplane down on the mains, gives you good firm braking. But as the elevator starts to run out of travel, and you can't really hold the tail up anymore, there's that moment as you're sort of decelerating, you're losing elevator authority, you're trying to gently set the tail down, and the fact that it's so far back and you're so blind, you know, obviously there's anxiety, did the tail wheel come down, that kind of stuff, but also just, it's a big transition. There's a lot of angular transition, which means that all the inertia of the rotating inertia of the propeller is now translating to directional stuff, and that makes for a lot of stuff going on. If I was to comment on sort of fundamental things about the Titan, that's a big one, is that the 3-point attitude is very nose high. Got back to the hangar, and I think this guy might be my favorite part of the maybe the whole program. I hope when I get to this point in my life, I have an airport I can go to and hang out. This guy's got this 3-wheel bicycle, and he seems to just sort of be cruising the airport, talking to people. He gets to be around airplanes all day, which clearly he's passionate about. He had lots to say about, you know, having spent what appeared to be a lifetime in aviation. He knew a lot about stuff that was going on in aviation, and it made him enjoyable to talk to. Reminded me a lot of myself, and hopefully, like I said, a goal of where one could end up in a best case kind of situation.
That's pretty good. Right on the numbers. I watch you say you put that right on the numbers. Yes.
So that first flight was 0.6 hours from Chocks to Chocks. That put us in the air for just about 20 minutes, so about 0.3 hours airborne. With that first flight complete, we came back and checked the oil. So everything came down to the gearbox health. So we just used the dipstick to look for particulate on the oil. Of course, this oil now had 20 minutes of runtime on it. So it was it looked like very much clean oil, but there was no signs of debris. And with that, we started moving towards flight 2. In this video, you can see Jim checking the engine oil. Yes, the gearbox and the engine oil are separate. And yes, we checked both. So